What would be your advice for, women or young ladies or even just ladies in general? What would be your advice to them about believing in themselves, or what would be that word of advice that you would like to give to them?
Well, I think it's really about talking about it and being around a close community or group of friends, or even just having a close friend to even talk about it. I mean, body image is so important.
Death has always been a certainty.
That's what I like about Anjali.
It has to be a celebration.
Endless topics that we can talk about.
Dying to meet you.
Welcome to my podcast. Welcome to my podcast and welcome to my show. And today we have Cindy Leong with us. Cindy, I'm dying to meet you.
Wow. Hi.
Hi. So Cindy is the founder of the Enneagram Academy. So we'll find out more about Enneagram later on. And you may also find her voice very familiar because she's also the resident love expert at Class 95. So tell us more about you, Cindy.
Okay, so I'm on Class 95 on every fortnight Wednesday. So yesterday I'm on air at 8 p.m. I was sharing about how to break a bad news to your loved ones. Yeah. And interestingly, I tell you, after that, right, there's a message that came in to the DJ and ask, so how do I break the bad news that I actually visited the KTV? Okay, so the main thing that I really do is the Enneagram. So I help people make sense of their relationship, their personality, their communication style, their leadership style, using the Enneagram framework. But on the media, they are mostly interested in love and relationship lah. So that's why, resident love expert. But this is also an area of study that I was very, very interested in the uni. So I actually studied under this person called Dr. Love in SMU. And he's the one who got me really interested in this area. Yeah. His area of research was in dating and mating choices. Yeah. So that's under the evolutionary psychology. So that's something that I learned in the uni. And and it got me really interested.
So what was some of the, maybe your journey, some of the highlights that you love about Enneagram, or some of the interesting stories that you could share with us?
Yeah, so I think the highlight is really when people come back to me and tell me that, hey, Enneagram really changed my life. This is something you have taught me. Not everyone thinks the same. Not everyone prefers the same treatment. We need to cater or customize the way we treat people based on how the other person prefer to be treated. Yeah, and there's no one size fit all. And I think the greatest joy is when people say, hey, Enneagram really saved my relationship with this person, or it helps me to reconcile with my mom, my dad.
So what about challenges? I mean, like being one of the youngest, I'm sure, and when you founded, I believe, we were one of the pioneers for Enneagram. So what were the challenges like being such a young coach?
Yeah, I think when I first started, right, I was really, really young. So I was less than 30 years old at that time. So less than 30 years old and you want to coach people, right? Most of my clients are 95% they are older than me in age. And sometimes I get questions like, actually, how old are you? I always get that question. I get that question a lot. And my answer is always, does it matter?
Yeah.
Has my coaching helped you? Okay, can. Then they always get very curious, right? I mean, humans, we just want to put a number to this person.
Correct.
Yeah. But because of my life experience, I must say. So I'm actually very thankful that, I have a lot of life experience at a very, very young age. Because I came out and worked at the age of 12.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, as a door-to-door jigsaw puzzle
really?
salesperson. Yeah. After
God.
PSLE, because it's like so boring, right? Nothing to do. So, just go and do some part-time job lah. Like every day I earn like $50. Okay, I'm quite happy.
Oh, wow.
It's a primary 6 PSLE.
What would be your advice for, women or young ladies or even just ladies in general? What would be your advice to them about believing in themselves, or what would be that word of advice that you would like to give to them?
Well, I think it's really about talking about it and being around a close community or group of friends, or even just having a close friend to even talk about it. I mean, body image is so important. Yeah, you cannot help it. I mean, as a woman, when you walk out, people will surely have some sort of impression about you, right? You look hot, you look whatever, you're putting on weight. I mean, we are constantly being judged that way.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you don't have to have good body shape to have good self-image.
Yeah.
So there's so much more within us that we can bring to the table. And sometimes we fail to see all these things. We're just busy meeting the needs of other people and meeting expectations of other people. And sometimes we ladies, we just need to sit down and have time for ourselves to think through what's the good in us, what are some of the gifts we are given, you know, and what are the power we are given, what can we bring to the table, what can we contribute back, and what can we show the world, you know. So it's really putting more focus on our inner self rather than meeting the expectations of the external.
But I think women, being
struggle with another set of things.
Yeah, so we're constantly thinking, multitasking and all that.
Yeah.
But we also have a fair share of struggle that we could. And I always feel, ladies, we need to really love ourselves.
Yeah,
a lot
it's
more.
true.
Yeah, sometimes we forget and then we just do things for other people and 忘了自己啦. So if you want to know more, definitely, tune into Class 95, get to know about relationship. And I also think that there's a lot of, wisdom that comes from Cindy and just knowing so much about Enneagram and speaking to her. I'm always learning so much from her. But, Cindy, I do want to know, oddly that yesterday you just did a show about like breaking bad news, right? So and in our podcast, in every podcast, we always ask our guests the same question.
Yeah.
How have you ever thought about when a day comes, when the eventuality comes? Because our journey may be different, but our destination are all the same.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts about your own funeral or your own farewell?
Actually, I've thought about it like 5 years ago already.
Really? What triggered
it? Because I met your staff, right?
I see.
And your staff talked about it, right? Like think about what kind of funeral you want. And I saw pictures of how funeral can be done, not in our regular standard way, but there are other ways. Yeah, no need to be traditional. It can be very different in the way you do funeral. So I was like, hey, I actually like giraffes a lot lah. Yeah, I think
That's
a lot of you all
something I
know.
learned.
Yeah. Now a lot of people know I like giraffes. I wanted a giraffe theme because it's a
nice.
happy color.
Yeah.
It's yellow, orange, right? So it's a happy thing because I think my life is worth a celebration lah, right? Whatever
definitely.
I've gone through, the lives that I've touched and everything. I think if I leave, I'm going to a better place. I'm going to heaven. Then it has to be a celebration. So it has to be like happy.
So do you need like mascot, to dress like a giraffe?
No need mascot lah. But I think everybody can just wear yellow and orange.
Oh, that's nice.
Then obviously I would plan everything so that there's no conflict. Yeah, because having planned my father-in-law and my own father's funeral, my father's one is not so bad, but my father-in-law one is really like, there's always aunties and uncles that will say this, why never do this, why do that, right? So knowing that is going to happen, I'm just going to spare my family members from all this explanation and handling all these difficult inquiries. So they just have to say, no, the deceased planned it that way.
Have you thought about how your cremated remains? Or where's your final
just go to
resting?
the sea lah.
Oh, so you prefer the sea.
Yeah.
We have land scattering now. Well, last week we have somebody who wants to jump off from a helicopter. She wanted to bungee jump down, skydive down into her funeral. So do you have so
No need lah.
No need.
No, I mean, because I always love traveling. I always love traveling, see the world and all
Yeah.
that. So going into the sea is really the best. I don't want to be like, die or you still stay in Singapore.
How would you like to be remembered?
Okay. I guess I want to be remembered as someone who has made a difference in someone's life. Yeah, definitely. Because of what I do, I think being in a privileged position to have this calling and to be, so close and vulnerable with people, and people kind of see me, they're really at their very vulnerable state, right? So I'm just glad that I can be there for them, and help them to be in that turning point. So I guess this is what I do best.
Yeah.
And I think I should be remembered for that lah.
Yeah. So, we hear so much about you, but let our listener know where can they find more information about you and about the Enneagram if they're interested. What are some of the things, the upcoming projects that you're into?
Oh, okay. If you are interested to learn more about the Enneagram or to even attend our WSQ courses, which is actually pretty much zero cost lah, because everyone can be using their SkillsFuture credit to do so. You can actually visit our Facebook or our website, theenneagramacademy.com or relationshipstudio.com. Yeah, so these are the two places you can find us.
And Cindy, I think the time is up, and thank you so much for joining us today, and we really appreciate your time. So any parting words for our listener?
I think self-awareness is very important,
Self-aware?
especially at this point in time,
right?
because of
Yeah.
COVID and everything. We are all kept indoors. We are dealing with our family members. Sometimes we have nowhere to run, right?
Oh, wow,
Yeah, in
yes.
the same household. So yeah, I mean during this period of time, I see a lot of like domestic violence coming out and stuff. So I think the word of advice is really self-awareness.
Yeah.
And prioritize relationships.
There you go. And that is Cindy Leong from the Enneagram Academy. Thank you, Cindy. And remember to stay tuned for her Fought with Lee, love expert advice on Class 95. And we will see you next time.
Bye.
Death has always been a certainty.
That's what I like about Anjali.
It has to be a celebration.
Endless topics that we can talk about.
Whatever you leave behind, that's the impact that you leave on